Okay guys, we are back on the water. Excited to take you along. This is a lake I fished a couple times in the last, I don't know, maybe 5 years. So we're back out here today and see if we can put something together. We will start off, it's, a little overcast and around 7 a.m. So we will start off with a little bit of top water, a frog maybe, work some grass, and then I'm guessing that's not going to hold up forever. It's not an immense grass lake. I'm guessing we're going to have to move offshore and try to find some fish offshore. So we'll see what we can put together this morning, and the rest of the day. I don't have a super long day, but we'll see what we can put together. Excited to take you along. Let's go. Little fish. All right, little fish. We'll take it. Hooked perfectly. Look at that. I mean, anchored right in the roof of the mouth. That is perfect. We've been idling around a little bit and we found schools of like small bait fish, but I haven't been able to find any really big fish. So we're idling over points in the pockets of coves, the deep, where it dropped the break. We found a little grass clump on a point. It seems to be really hard to find any rock. I would like to find some rock. If we did, I think it would be, a good spot, just considering I'm not seeing a lot in this lake. I'm seeing, grass that's kind of this disgusting, yucky stuff on the bottom, but nothing of real interest. But we're still firing. At this point had a little bit of grass, a little bit of something interesting. So we're gonna fire a few casts across it and see if we find anything. The wind's really picking up, which it was predicting to do, so we'll probably be fighting that all day. It makes some of the baits difficult that I'd like to use difficult to use. We're having to use baits with a heavier weight so we can feel them, even though we've got a lot of wind, and cast them in the wind. So we'll see. Now if you notice, I make my cast, we're fishing in the wind, I make my cast, I pull it tight, and I lay it right down on the water. And that helps me not have a giant bow in my line, so I can stay really connected to that bait. If you notice, that's what I've been doing. And I can feel it, we're dragging across some stuff, a little bit of rock or something hard on the bottom, and then I can feel it pull through some weeds, and just kind of ripping it free of some of those weeds as well. I'm using a tungsten weight, which does help a lot. Fluorocarbon and then tungsten weight, which helps me, really feel the bottom. That tungsten transmits right, up the line and to my rod, so that is helpful. With the waves picking up this much, I think we can probably put the top water away. It's a pretty safe bet, so I can clear some of these rods off my deck and move. I've got some other ones set on the side there that I could probably move up. Cleanliness is next to godliness. What have we done? We've got a hawk flying up above us, and as long as it's not a vulture, we're good. Not dead yet. So a few people asked me for some tips, tips and tricks, and so I thought I'd bring two. One's very well known and the other's maybe a little less well known. So number one, it's very well known, but never pee into the wind. Lesser well known, never fart into the wind. Both of them have the same result. You get the wash of either one. So there's a tip you can take with you. For a second there, it felt good, until you realize it's nothing but weeds. banging into stuff, ripping through weeds. You think this should be working. But you know what they say, I can't catch them if they're not there. They have to be there to catch them. You know, when you see something and you think, that doesn't look right. Here, I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing. If we look ahead here, follow my looking, right, pointing right there. I know it's not polite to point, but we're going to do it anyway. Right up there. Do you notice there's a big tree that's blown over? Oh, and there's a building. That doesn't look right. The tree is on the building. That's going to leave a mark. Now, do you think we should go to them and knock on their door and just say, hey, everything's relative. There is no reality. The tree isn't real. There's no reality, so the tree that's sticking through your roof isn't real. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? I think that would cheer them up. I think that would just tell them it's all relative. It's not real. Oh, we're getting a call. Let's see. It's my wife. Good morning, my divine goddess. It just seemed like the day. Ooh, wow. Okay. Right at the boat here. Ooh, that was unexpected. Oh my goodness. Look at that, folks. Yeah. Look at that. That is a big smallmouth. Right at the boat. Yeah, right at the boat. The reason we're sitting here, this is, it goes back into a kind of a bay back here, and we idled over this, and there's a lot of rock, and it'll go a rock hump, and then it'll drop way back down, another rock hump, and it'll drop way back down, and there's a break line right here, and then there's some more rock back behind us. So we've been fishing this for a while. That was the first bite that we got on it. It felt like a good one, and I know we had it for a while, so I'm not quite sure why we lost him, but it happens. So we're going to keep fishing this a little longer. The wind is picking up, and it's making it a little difficult. We're fishing a 1/4 ounce head, which is a little bit of a challenge, but we're going to keep at it. Alright guys, this is kind of like a corner. It's probably more what it is, not as much of a point, but a corner. But under the water, there's kind of a rocky point that comes out that we just idled over, and we put a couple waypoints down. So we'll see if we can find some more fish. That was a bad hook set. Ooh. Not a great hook set, but we're thrilled to have it. Man, that's number 5. Wow, now look at the belly on that. Not a big fish, but the belly's incredible. Goodness. Oh. Now he bit that and started running. So we're going to pitch back in there and see if we can pick up another one. This is an interesting spot. It's basically a point that comes off that island, but kind of a sunken island here. We're in 20 feet of water right here, and within 25 feet we've got a rock just about sticking out of the water. So it's an interesting spot. And very good, honestly. I mean, we got weeds, we got some rock, we got a drop off. There should be more fish. Doesn't mean we'll catch them, but there really should be more. I don't know if this has made any difference. We've flipped quite a bit of grass. This seems like some of the better, like a better spot with grass. But I did swap over to fluorocarbon. The water's pretty clear, so I don't know if that's made the difference on catching that last one or not, or if we would have caught that on braid. I'm not sure, but we're going to use fluorocarbon a little longer. You don't have the sensitivity of braid, but it is more invisible in the water, which is very helpful when the water's this clear. Do you ever have something random just pop in your head? So here I am fishing, and the most random thing pops in my head. A quote from the movie Johnny English pops into my head. The Bedouin monks of the Armageddon Mountains developed a system of chanting, and with their highly tuned ears, the sound would bounce off the walls and reverberate back, and they could paint a mental picture of the path ahead. However, you must always sing in E flat. Useless. Why did that pop in my head? Oh, lost a little baby. He's chasing that medhead. Just a teeny one. But guys, if I'm throwing a Ned head, it means it's a tough day. Tell you what, having the, it doesn't mean we're going to catch an extra one right now, but having the 360 imaging is a lifesaver when it comes to seeing what's going on. Just the other day I was fishing in a body of water, and it was actually a body of water that I fished a little bit, and I went out a little deeper and found where the weed line was, but it was kind of a deep hole in a shallow body of water, and so I was able to very easily watch that weed edge and where little bump outs and so on all the way, and follow it up with my 360 imaging, and I just put spot lock down, and I'd soak that area with a worm and just work it, and I'd be dragging along. You'd find that little weed point, and you'd hop it through, and sure enough, you'd get a bite. And so it was amazing how well it worked, and it weaved in and out and circled around, and you're able just to follow it the whole way with that 360 imaging. You'll catch extra fish if you, and I'm not a tech genius, that's for sure. You will absolutely, if you have those tools, the 360 imaging, you will catch extra fish from it. It's absolutely incredible what you can see under the water with that 360 imaging. And I would have no idea. I mean, again, you could maybe idle over it and try to put some waypoints down, but it's hard because by the time you idle over it, you know, you're over it. With 360 imaging, you can see out in front of you 60 feet, all the way around you 60 feet. But that makes a really big difference in your casting, and you can make that cast before you've even gotten there, and make a very precise cast because it's incredibly accurate. So it really will change the way you fish some. And I've used it in shallower water, but I use it a lot in a little bit deeper water. So that unless I can visually see, you know, anything that I can't quite see, that's when I use that 360 and sonar in general, electronics in general. But yeah, when it's out of your visual sight, boy, it is amazing what it can do for you. It is an incredible tool, and you absolutely should use it if you can. Well, guys, that's going to be a wrap. We have struggled today. We caught 5 fish. one decent one, and the others were very small. And I'm trying to think, we caught one on a worm. We caught one on a, you know, flipping bait, a creature bait. Right here, we just caught one on that. We caught two on a flipping bait. We actually, you know, caught another one on a flipping bait. It was this one here. That was earlier. So that's 2 on a flipping bait, 1 on a worm. Let's see, what else did we catch them on? Oh, and a chatterbait. So those are our four different baits. Boy, struggled. I'm not quite sure what I'd do differently. Maybe go down to even more finesse, but it was kind of important to cover some water. At least in my thinking, we went shallow and deep, and we kind of bounced back and forth. And we caught a few shallow, and we caught, you know, a few deeper, but I could never put a pattern together. We cranked a lot, just trying to trigger a bite and find some fish, but boy, it just did not happen. We fished some good looking stuff that I would absolutely fish again, but obviously not right now. I'm not sure, so maybe something like a drop shot, or, you know, something, but boy, I still don't have a good idea as to, okay, that's where they were. If we just slowed down, we would have caught more. Boy, I really don't have that. I'm sure if we kept grinding, we'd catch a couple more, but I don't have like a, you know, a specific thing to do different or better. If something pops in my head, I'll certainly, you know, tell you guys, but don't be afraid. That being said, this is a body of water I haven't fished much. Don't be afraid to go out and swing and a miss. That's part of learning. So going to a new body of water, or one that you don't know well, and trying some new things is a good thing. That will help you in the long run. Even if you have a bad day, it's always really fun when you maybe struggle at first but put it all together. That's super satisfying, but some days you just don't get that satisfaction. Reminds me of a song. No it doesn't. But you know, that happens. Don't be afraid of that. Keep learning. And some of my worst days, the absolute struggle days, is what spurred the most learning. I'll go back and I'll say, okay, what was I missing? And I will learn, and the next time it usually doesn't happen that same way, and I've learned something new. So don't be afraid to struggle a little bit. It happens to all of us, and stay with it, stay learning, and we'll have a good day the next time. Take care, guys.